student loans can be a huge weight on your budget. According to what I'm seeing and hearing, it's becoming more and more common. I was catching up on Market Watch and saw an article saying 70% of those with bachelor degrees graduate with debt. 70%. That's insane. Advisors, a financial aid site, reported that last year's graduates on average were on the hook for about $35,000 each in student loans. If you're still saddled with a student loan or loans, stay tuned because we're going to try and lighten that load. In this episode, we get into the difference between refinancing and consolidating them, shopping around for the best deals, and how to speed up getting rid of them. I hope you enjoy. Student loans are a big business. It's estimated that the total outstanding student loan debt in America is around $1.2 trillion. Getting your student loan debt under control, whether it's about getting the payments to work with your financial situation or finally getting rid of them as soon as possible, can be a huge relief. Consolidating and or refinancing your loans can be your ticket out.
One thing I think that's the most important part of it all is, it's the debt that a lot of people are trying to figure out how to pay off. So they're curious about making sure that they're paying the lowest payment they can make. They want to make sure that they're paying enough so that they can eventually get out of debt.
That's Jeremy Albin, by the way. He works with Credible, a student loan financing site.
My name's Jeremy Albin, and I'm the loan operations manager at Credible. So I basically oversee our loan operations team, and we're responsible for seeing the submissions and applications that come across our desk of people who are interested in looking at either refinancing their student loans or inquiring about getting a new student loan.
Jeremy has been in lending for almost a decade, but he also has some personal experience and can empathize with customers because he's had to take out student loans for his education too.
So I ended up at Berkeley, which is a state school, obviously. So pretty lucky not to have a huge debt burden coming out, but did take some federal loans out and, did the consolidation back when interest rates were really low. I do have my oldest in high school right now, so I'm sort of staring down the path of, what's to come down the road. And having worked here at Credible, I'm definitely cognizant of the idea of not taking out too much debt.
Working with Credible, he's dealt firsthand with graduates trying to make their payments more manageable.
I think the purpose of a company like ours is to sort of shed light on the issue and help people figure out what are the best avenues, best options for dealing with whatever debt they do have.
One factor that can make a difference is the source of your loans. There are federal and then there are private loans. Knowing the difference between the two of them can be a big help.
Yeah, so a lot of people are probably familiar with federal student loans. Many people who have gone to school have ended up with a federal student loan. But a lot of people more and more these days have also ended up with private student loans as college has gotten more expensive. Obviously, some of the differences that people are probably aware of are that some federal loans do have subsidized interest, which can make the costs a little lower. There are some federal benefits, some protections that come with student loans, things like forbearance and deferment, depending on job employment situation, things like that. Also, the ability to potentially have some loans forgiven if you're working in a particular sector, for example, nonprofit sectors, things like teaching. There are some options to have some student loan forgiveness. And there's a host of benefits that you get by having a federal student loan that you don't with a private loan. Sort of the flip side is, and one of the reasons why student loan refinancing has become such a big thing these days, is that some private student loans, when refinancing, can offer a lower interest rate than some of the federal loans and some of the private loans that people take out while they're in college, mainly because a lot of the new refinancing loans that are taken out lenders are looking at the creditworthiness and income of a borrower after they've graduated college and after they're sort of out in the workforce, and evaluating them kind of the way you would get evaluated for a mortgage, as opposed to maybe when you got a loan when you were in school and you were given to it without really a lot of credit history or income history at all.
While consolidating and refinancing can go hand in hand, there are differences you need to know before you go ahead with either.
A lot of people like the idea of student loan consolidation, and it definitely serves a benefit. What it does in most cases is it takes a bunch of loans that you're paying, they're federal loans, and you may have different payments and different interest rates on those loans, and it combines them into one loan. Generally speaking, though, it's not lowering your actual interest rate or saving you any interest, but a lot of people hate the idea, and it's hard for them to make multiple payments, multiple lenders over, a period of time. And so it's sort of a convenience that basically averages your interest rate of those loans together so that you're basically paying the same amount but on one payment. Nice and convenient. A refinance is different. On a refinance, for example, ever had a mortgage or, refinanced a mortgage, which some may have, in that case, the lender's actually now reevaluating you based on your credit, based on your income, to see if you're worthy of being made a new loan. And that new loan can potentially have a lower interest rate, and the payment can be lower or higher depending on whether your goal is to pay it off quicker or longer. And in that case, you can actually save money over the life of the loan. So that's a big difference on refinancing that you won't get in student loan consolidation.
I'm a big believer in shopping around to get the best rates and service. So I like that there are companies like Credible that make it easy to hunt around from your own home.
One of the things that we developed at Credible is a pre-qualification engine that allows you to shop for multiple lenders on one marketplace at one time. So sort of an easy, one-stop form for you to make life a little simpler.
Once you find the best option for you, it's time to decide, how do you want to tackle this? With a hopefully lower minimum payment and or interest rate, you may be able to get rid of your loan sooner.
It's nice to potentially have one payment, but which you can obviously get in refinancing as well. But if you're looking to effectively pay your student loans off quicker and you want to pay less interest over the life of the loan, there's really only a couple things you can do, assuming you're not able to get any of your loans forgiven. That is one, if you have very attractive rates currently compared to what the market is, if you can make more payments on them, this goes for any loan. If you make a bigger payment, more goes to the principal, less goes to the interest. The loan gets paid off quicker, and you save money. So that's one. And two, if you lower the interest rate you're paying, so if you're currently paying 6.8% and you can lower it to 4.8% and you save 2 percentage points on the interest rate, for example, that means more money is going, even with those same payments you've been making, more to principal, less to interest, and you'll pay less over the life of the loan if you keep making those payments. So that's one of those areas where refinancing, if you can save on your interest, it's just a huge benefit.
By arming yourself with knowledge, it can make it easier to find what you need and hopefully what you want. Special thanks to Jeremy for coming on the show. If you're looking at refinancing your student loans, you may want to check out Credible. I'll have a link to them in the show notes, along with other resources, so you can come up with a plan that fits your situation. Couple Money Podcast is made possible because of listeners like you. Every tweet, Facebook like, and pin you make gets the word out, so thank you so much for your support. On next week's show, we're wrapping up this season, and it's a good one. Justin from Root of Good will be on to explain how he and his wife retired early, in their 30s, with kids. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. It's free and easy. We're out there on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, and more. You can also grab the feed off our site so you can listen to the show from whatever podcast service app you prefer. And if you enjoy the podcast and find it helpful, could you please leave a review? It takes about a minute, but it is a huge help. Thanks again for listening. Take care.